and J Hood. Follow Cap J Hood on Twitter and Instagram. Watch the show on Twitch. Follow ESPN 1000 Chicago. Stream the show on the ESPN Chicago app, on ESPN 1000, and now on FM at 100.3 HD2. Now, on Chicago's home for sports, David Kaplan and Jonathan Hood.
Goal. Derek Watt, the fullback in there, seals the hole. Here's Najee Harris. Touchdown, Steelers, making it look easy. 2nd and 11. Again out of the gun. Fields has the pass batted down and intercepted. It's more than just batted down. It's Cam Hayward that has time, directs traffic, buys time for Pat Fryermuth for the touchdown, Steelers. Bears rushing 4. Roethlisberger throws with a back shoulder, and it is caught. Jakeem Grant for Chicago. Staying on his feet, the football comes out. And I think Boswell recovered it. Steelers rush 4. Fields wanted to run the whole time, and he was taken down. T.J. Watt, his 3rd sack of the night. Little pressure that time on O'Donnell. McLeod from his 20. And just shy of the 30, that ball comes out. That's Houston Carson into the end zone. Let's see. Fields throws. Got his guy. Allen Robinson down the sideline. Fields under some pressure. Throws on the run. Lost one of the end zone. It is caught. It's Mooney for the touchdown. From 40. To put the Steelers back on top. And he does. A 65-yard field goal attempt. Steelers have a timeout left if they want it. They don't. Kick on the way. Hits the crossbar and comes short. And that's how this game will come to an end.
Woo! Bring them out, bring them out, bring them out, bring them out. Woo! Bring them out, bring them out. Bring them out, bring them out. Bring them out, bring them out. Bring them out, bring them out.
I didn't quite hit the crossbar. It's like 9 yards short of the crossbar. A lot to unpack. The lines are here for you right now on a Football Bears Tuesday, brought to you by Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Acura dealers with the great Jonathan Hood, Jeff Meller, Danny Zetterman, J.R. Strauss. I'm David Kaplan. Bears lose a heartbreaker last night, but a lot, as I said, Hoodie, to unpack. They have no one to blame but themselves for putting themselves in a hole early at the half. They rallied back. I think we know now we do have a quarterback. I think we have a tight end. I know we have a running back. We also need a regime change. That's obvious. 12 penalties. 12. And, yes, there were some that I can't tell you. Robert Quinn, an 11-year pro, lining up in the freaking neutral zone twice. That doesn't fall, in my opinion, or the guys I worked with who all played or coached in the league, at the feet of Matt Nagy. But Mario Edwards, again, you could say it's ticky-tack. How many times is he going to get unsportsmanlike this year? Multiple. I'm just telling you, man. Cassius Marsh, great play. You've got amazing tattoos. Whether that's a BS call or not, what are you doing looking at their sideline? You don't play for them anymore. You play for Chicago. Get your ass off the GD field.
Well, the thing that I saw yesterday, Cap, was the Bears were defeated by the Steelers, and the Bears were defeated by the officials, and the Bears were defeated by themselves. What I mean is that when you beat yourself, this is the result, a 29-27 loss. When the officials are not seeing things your way, that means that the officials are beating you. When the Steelers actually win the game, they beat you as well. It is so disappointing to see the Bears so undisciplined. I mean, we saw the schedule before, when it first was came out, we saw the schedule and we said, boy, this is going to be a daunting schedule right in the middle of it. But what's so disappointing, Cap, is how undisciplined the football team is. No matter how harmonious it is up there at House Hall where everyone gets along, when you get on the field and there's all these penalties and all these mistakes, that's just not good enough, man. That's on the players, but it's also on coaching as well. I mean, you understand it's a rowdy environment at Heinz Field, and that's one thing. But when you're just not even – when you're in the neutral zone twice, a Robert Quinn, a veteran, time and time again, you are beating yourself in that spot. And whatever you think about the Pittsburgh Steelers, that was a winnable game at the end, there's no question. But it just shows you the difference between a team that can be able to win at the end and a team that beats themselves. And that's exactly what the Bears did yesterday. Again, another waste of time. It was good to see the Bears rally in the fourth quarter with a chance to win, but it just shows you they just can't finish because that's who they are.
Well said. I can't disagree with anything that you're saying. Can you look back and go, well, Justin got hit twice. One, it was 2 steps after the ball was long gone. Gets drilled. He's laying on the ground like he's dead. No call. Mario Edwards, right there in the face of Roethlisberger as he releases. That's a penalty because you hit an old man. That was some bad officiating. It was.
It was. And it's very rare that we come on here and criticize the officials because we know how difficult that job is. But the point is, though, is that Justin Fields is not an active runner every time he has the football. So he gets his ass knocked out of bounds by Fitzpatrick on that particular play, and that was early in the game. Okay, that was a legal hit because he was an active runner.
Correct.
And he was still in bounds. But it doesn't mean that Justin Fields it's like target season on Justin Fields. If the ball is released and there's 2 seconds after that and he gets hit, how come there's no flag there?
Agreed.
Now, again, that might be the difference between a win and a loss because of how close the game was. Sometimes you say, well, it's just a blown call, it's a missed call, it's going to be but actually, because of the ebb and flow of that game, that could have been the difference between a win and a loss. Who knows?
So, Cassius Marsh. I've been reading a lot. I couldn't sleep last night. I got home. You're still wired after the game and working. Got home, I don't know, it was 1:30, and I'm reading on social media here like, this poor kid, a practice squad guy. Hold on a second. Because of COVID, you can put veterans on the practice squad. Like Le'Veon Bell was on the practice squad until they activated him in Baltimore. Cassius Marsh was a 4th-round pick in 2014 by the Seahawks. He has 14 career NFL sacks. This is not some 21-year-old rookie who was signed and activated yesterday, and oh, my God, the moment was too big. This guy's been around a long time. Do I think that was taunting? I don't. Do I think this emphasis on it is over the top? I do. You made a hell of a play, young man. Now get your ass off the field and celebrate on your sideline with your team. He did his little kick thing, and then he stood there and looked. People thought he was taunting the punter coming in. He wasn't. He was looking at their sideline because they cut him. He played the end of last year. They signed him during the year. And then he was in camp up till August 31st. Why? You're a Bear now. You know there's an emphasis on taunting. And if you don't, shame on you. You're an 8-year veteran. Can't happen.
Yeah, it was as simple as that. I know that many thought that was a BS call. Like the officials are targeting Marsh. Here's the thing. In this league, and this is why I've said to you many times, Cap, it's hard for me to watch on Sundays and Mondays this NFL because it's so overly officiated. It's so many flags. I don't see flags like that in college. I see that in the pros a lot. So having to sit through that slog yesterday was tough for me as a college football fan and as a Bears fan. Nonetheless, here's the thing. To the letter of the law, they believe that is taunting. But 2 things can be true. Why is Correnti bumping Marsh in that spot? Why the hip check?
Agreed.
See, here's the thing that is unfortunate for NFL players. It's like you can't touch an official, but an official can be able to grab you, touch you, hip check you. That's not their job. You're not there. You're not a bouncer at the club, right? You're not supposed to be manhandling players, and you're not supposed to be able to hip check a player. That's exactly what Corrente did. I'm sure that there will be 4 or 5 clips that Nagy and the Bears will send to the NFL in New York to explain why was this a flag, why was this a flag. There's a number of things that they really do have a case about. Now, it's not going to change the score, but the point is, though, is that there's no reason for Corrente to hip check that kid. Why did he do it?
Agreed. Now, I don't believe that, again, Tony Corrente has done the Super Bowl. Like, he's one of the best officials in the league. Even great officials can have a bad night.
That's a horrible night.
He had a horrible night.
Yeah.
Horrible. But he told a pool reporter that he did not get influenced by the kid and he bumping, that he was already calling the taunting penalty for staring at the Steelers sideline. He never said a word, but he stared at it. But when you walk towards them,
right?
Why? Yeah.
He said, well, Marsh says he's been doing that his whole career. And I'm just
the
like,
kick part,
yeah.
Not the walk toward their side. Like, if you watch it again, he walks like maybe 8-10 feet and he looks at them. Really? Why? You just made a hell of a play. You're trying to keep your dream alive in the NFL. You got activated yesterday afternoon off the practice. Now you could see Corrente is reaching for his flag.
No, don't be bumping into the guy.
Agreed. I agree with you 100%. He was already going to call it, but that is an awful penalty, and he does not need to look at their sideline. You don't play for Pittsburgh. You play for Chicago.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's just one of many question marks I have about the Bears and their undisciplined nature.
And that, in totality, again, Robert Quinn's an 11-year pro. You line up once, shame on you. Twice, shame on your coach for allowing it to happen. Twice. You take 12 more penalties? 12? If I'm sitting in that owner's suite, I'm like, this is enough. Enough.
Just look at your, but in looking at Quinn, just look at your teammates. Where are they lining up?
Correct.
I know you're trying to get after the quarterback. You're trying to get the motor started early, right? I get that. But, I mean, for that to happen twice, though, you're just hurting your football team.
Agreed.
It's too much of it, Cap. It's too much. Look, if you're going to lose the football game, you lose it because the other team was better. But when you're just handing them penalties, you're just handing them yards, that's just not good enough, man. That falls at the players, but also falls at Matt Nagy as well and the coaching staff. How does this continue to happen? All these penalties taking place, and a lot of them early. You're shooting yourself in the foot early in the game.
How about the one that was the most egregious to me of the whole thing? Timeout. He doesn't like where Mooney is because Mooney's not lined up properly. Timeout. This is in the first quarter. We come out of the timeout. Illegal formation. Illegal formation.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Ugly loss in a very entertaining game. All your Bears calls are coming up next. 312-332-3776. Bad refs, bad coaching, bad penalties. Good play by Justin Fields. We saw a lot of development, which is all a good thing. And by the way, a bunch of people are tweeting at me, Rodgers didn't get a flag when he said, I own you. Because you can't taunt the other team. You can yell in the corner to the fans. They're never going to flag that.
Yeah, he taunted the fans. He did not taunt a player.
Correct. And that's the way the rule is. So, like it or not, that's a fact.
You can defend Rodgers on other issues if you care to.
Yeah. No, thank you. 312-332-3776. Your calls next.
It's Cap and J Hood on Chicago's Home for Sports. Follow the show on Twitter at Cap J Hood. This is ESPN 1000.
It's a Bears Tuesday on the Cap and J Hood Morning Show with David Kaplan, Jonathan Hood with you. 312-332-ESPN, 332-3776 is our phone number. Still to come, we'll hear from Albert Breer. We'll get his thoughts about the Bears in the NFL, but we want to hear from you. In a very entertaining game, but an ugly loss for the Bears as they continue to free fall here in the 2021 season.
I had JR's beard in the middle of my keyboard over here.
It's the most action you've had all month.
I'm going on vacation soon.
Nothing like having a beard right between you. Nothing wrong with that. Go ahead, Cap.
Cassius Marsh. We're going to go right to your calls in a sec. Cassius Marsh, who got that unnecessary taunting penalty. You could tell me it's a bad call. I agree with you. You can't put yourself in that position. Walk away and celebrate with your guys. Don't look at their sideline. Don't take 3 steps towards their sideline. Stop. You can't do it. Here he is.
I think that that one was just bad timing. I think it's pretty clear to everybody who saw it that I wasn't taunting. And, I've been doing the celebration my whole career, and, it's just sad to see stuff like that happen in a close game like that. It's just rough, man. I don't want to say too much because y'all know how it is, but
but it's it's one of those deals that we know they're emphasizing.
So the thoughts there from Cassius Marsh. So we heard
that one was just.
So we heard from Cassius Marsh there.
There's more.
I think it's pretty clear to everybody who saw it that I wasn't taunting. And, I've been doing the celebration my whole career, and, it's just sad to see stuff like that happen in a close game like that. It's just rough, man. I don't want to say too much because y'all know how it is, but...
There's another part where he talked about Tony Correnti, and if he bumped him, it's a suspension, it's a fine, and you could tell he believes that the flag was thrown because he made contact with the official. Correnti desperately after the game, talking to the poor, said, absolutely not. I was already reaching for my flag. Now, there was already sleuthing going on the internet. It's amazing what Twitter does, where they have clips of Correnti, multiple games, where his hand is always going there in case he has to throw it. So, is he truly getting ready to throw it, or is he only influenced to throw it after Cassius Marsh made contact with him? And as you put it, Hoodie, he sticks his hip out.
Yeah.
And hip checks him.
That's
like
not
a
right.
Hockey player.
That's not right.
Agreed.
But here's the thing. Even after the Marsh play, the Bears are still rallying, right? Even after that play, the Bears still scored. They still were able to put 21 points on the board. So that's just among the egregious calls that took place. Again, Marsh was wrong for going to the sidelines. I agree. But also Correnti, I think, was wrong for putting the hip check out there. But the point is that it's just way too many flags to be able to win a football game. And even with the flags, the Bears almost pulled it out against the Steelers.
Unbelievable.
But almost is not good enough. Almost is going to get Matt Nagy and this staff fired.
Agreed.
Pretty soon here.
Matt, again, I've been clear for weeks. I want a new coaching staff, and I believe he should be fired. He looked awful at the press conference.
Yes, he did.
Like, the weight of the world is on him.
Yep. He has no answers. There's nothing new out of those press conferences. I watched, and he looked like a dead dog up there.
He did. He looked awful.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the guy as a human.
Yeah, but
I just don't want him coaching my football team.
But Cap is business, though, right? It's business.
It's business.
And you're poor at your business, so you got to go.
Correct. Let's go to the phones, 312-332-3776. John is in St. Charles. We're going to start right there. Hey, John.
Yeah, guys, and there's a lot of different ways to go on this, and I wish I was more of a fan to know all the defensive tackles for the Bears that were in and out of there after Hicks got hurt. But the only reason why that Marsh guy was free to make that tackle, and was a great tackle, was because the defensive tackles for the Bears were making the Pittsburgh offensive line look like children out there. They stopped that running game. That's why they were in the game. And it's like, you made a tackle, great. There's only one reason why there's nobody on you is because they have to double team all the other guys on the inside because they're crushing them, and yet you're jumping around like you're some. You made a tackle. I'm going okay with the karate kick, and I'm going, oh, okay, great. And then all of a sudden he's looking at the Pittsburgh, you can add all the referee stuff and everything, but what are you doing? Who the hell do you think you are? Why are you with your fourth team? Maybe somebody might want to look internally to find out what kind of knucklehead this guy is and why all the other teams released him. I think we just saw it.
Well,
I don't mean to pound on him, but nobody's talking about how Nagy and well, I don't like. There's so many other things, but that defensive line, that's what you should be talking about.
I don't disagree. They held the Steelers, and we appreciate your call, John. They held the Steelers' offense in check from a yardage standpoint. Like the numbers, if you break them down, it's astronomical the percentage of games you win when you hold a team to yards per play, like in the twos.
Right.
Like 98% of the time you win. That said, if you're on that defense when you needed to make a stop to win the game after Justin gave you the lead, you couldn't do it. A. B, 29 points. 29 points.
It was not good enough. That you knew that there was going to be a weakness in the secondary anyway. There's no Eddie Jackson there. And again, even if Eddie's there, how many stops is he really making? Because he's not that effective anymore for whatever reason. And then you got Kendall Vildor, who is a little person trying to take on the Freiermuth and Johnson and Claypool. It was a mismatch.
Yes.
Our secondary against their wide receivers is a mismatch, and tight ends were a mismatch. Even though they did not flourish, they didn't have these big games. But when they needed to be able to get a first down, they were able to get it against the secondary.
And we missed Eddie Jackson in coverage big time. Harding, our guy. Hey, Harding, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, gentlemen? I just got a comment about that Marsh situation. Don't start beating him down, man. He's excited. You got to be kind of insane to be playing football anyways. Think about what you're saying. You're telling me a sport where every single play is like a car collision, but you have a rule that says I can't have my eyes on the other sideline. Think about that. Like, that sounds insane. And then the same referee that made that call also said that he made a call on the goal line that nullified a touchdown based off of what he thinks was going to happen. It didn't happen.
Right.
He just thought it was going to happen, so he threw a penalty.
Yeah, he had a horrible night. But again, I disagree with you. Again, do I think that was taunting? I don't. But Marsh cannot stare down their sideline, cannot put himself in that position. This is a emphatic point of emphasis. I was watching last night on NFL Network where they said the owners literally said to the competition committee, and we appreciate your call, Harding, the owners last summer, we want taunting out of the game. All of them were united. Okay, we're going to call it that way then.
Yeah.
So don't do it.
Yeah, usually these calls are when the NFL says we want you to have an emphasis on certain calls. That usually happens in September, and then it kind of goes away as the season progresses. It's kind of like baseball with the strike zone, right? We're going to have one strike zone. Let's make sure that we're very consistent with this, and all of a sudden, through the ebb and flow of a season, it goes away. Well, here we are in November, and they're still throwing flags like it's crazy, right? It's not saying that these are not penalties. It's just that the Bears didn't do anything about it. They didn't do their job to make sure that they were not flagged. Like, a lot of those were just self-inflicted wounds, though.
Agreed.
That's the whole thing, right? The game was more than the Cassius Marsh play, because there was a lot more plays there as far as penalties that shouldn't have happened for the Bears.
Javon Wims, not here anymore. Did he not get kicked out for punching last year?
That's correct.
Okay, did they not? According to Matt, we spent 15 minutes of your precious practice time, because you're on the clock. The Players Association says you get whatever the amount of time it is. 15 minutes, he lectured the team. Do not engage with Nickel Roby-Coleman going into the playoff game. Do you guys hear me? Do not. He's a punk. Do not engage with him. What happened? Anthony Miller got kicked out.
That's right.
So at some point, it falls at the feet of the man getting the big bucks to be the head coach of the Bears, period. Let's go to the phones. And Eddie's on the north side. Eddie, what's up, you cruiser?
Hey, guys, let's not just say we got our quarterback yet, because that old man outplayed him, 2 touchdowns. He won the game. And this game was over by the third quarter, because garbage time came in that fourth quarter, and that defense from Pittsburgh just laid down. They had the Bears mustered 2 field goals in 3 quarters, and Pittsburgh had 3 touchdowns.
Eddie, they drove down the field with 1:46 left, and our quarterback looked like a stud. They made a big boy throw, a big boy catch by Mooney, dragging his feet in the back corner. Stop. He did not get outplayed by Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger was not better than him. Ben Roethlisberger's done. He is not the guy he used to be. Come on. They lost, Eddie. I'll go with you. They lost. A loss is a loss.
Yeah.
Our quarterback grew up last night. He was a stud down the stretch.
Yeah, Roethlisberger's not the same quarterback that he's been in the past because he's older. He's in the autumn of his career. When he had to make a throw, though, and he was able to connect to his tight end and wide receivers. Yeah, when he had to do it, I mean, he was able to do it. So, no, he's not the same quarterback, and there was growth from Justin Fields, which we'll document moving forward throughout the show, Cap. But the point is, though, is that what really just pisses me off is that how undisciplined this football team is, and I don't know how this gets better. You're hoping that if you have a bad game, you could bounce back the next week, and I just don't see this from this Bears team. How is it that you have that many penalties and just pretty much gift wrap the game to the Steelers because you can't stay disciplined? That's the thing that's so disappointing about it. And again, this takes away from a great rally from Justin Fields, the offense trying to get to kind of scratch and claw their way back into the game, and then you get this. Bad teams perform the way the Bears did. That's what bad teams do. You say what you want about the Steelers, but I know a bad team when I see it, and I see it in blue and orange.
Yeah, and it's a game they should have won. I don't disagree with you. 312-332-3776. Bad refs, bad coaching, bad penalties. And we have a quarterback. We discussed it all with your calls next.
David Kaplan.
Jonathan Hood.
This is Cap and J Hood. Follow on Twitter at Cap J Hood.
On ESPN 1000.
And the ESPN Chicago app.
Time opportunity to steal one on Monday Night Football. A combination of bad coaching, awful penalties, and awful refereeing. And you lose 29-27. Did allow me, though, to cash a $20 bet with Danny. Thank you, Chris Boswell, for missing the extra point, because I bet him $20 the Steelers would not score 30.
I will give you the money gladly.
You did.
And I accept this. I accept this as a moral victory because yesterday in Shot or No Shot, I asked you, shot or no shot, this Steelers offense, which has failed to score 30 points a single time this season, would be able to put up 30 on this vaunted Bears defense. And you emphatically, as you always do, yelled, no shot, no shot. Mm-hmm. Now, although the Steelers only scored 29 points, it would have been 30 if Chris Boswell made that extra point. I think I still win the bet in the fact that the Bears make every offense, no matter how bad, how stagnant they look against other teams, look good, right? The 49ers scored 30 on this Bears' vaunted defense. The Steelers, which we saw yesterday, really fails to move that football, scored almost 30 on this Bears defense. So although I am $20 lighter today, I do feel like I proved my point and in the long run won that bet.
You actually did prove your point. And the point is that no matter what people think of the Steelers or Ben Roethlisberger, they're still better than the Bears. That's the point.
Don't disagree.
They can run the football. They mirror the Bears in that they can run the football. They do have a tight end that they can rely on. They do have wide receivers. Again, it's not a team that's going to have a deep run in the playoffs, but the Steelers were good enough to beat the Bears. And then when we saw the schedule, we said going into Heinz Field is going to be a daunting task for the Bears. And guess what? The Bears are still in the game in the fourth quarter. But again, they beat their own ass.
They did. By the way, Twitch, you can see it here. Danny did pay his 20, and it says, effing kickers, take that, Zetterman.
There you go.
I am going to frame it, right with the 20 that our old boss Mike Thomas gave me because he said, Deshaun Watson will start opening night. I'm like, yeah, okay. Good luck with that take.
Hi.
How's Boston? Let's go to the phones. 312-332-3776. Lisa is in Downers Grove. Lisa, good morning. How are you?
Hi, guys. How are you doing?
We're good.
How you doing?
Good. So, listen, and hear me out, I think every time I watch a Bears game is like watching an episode of the Squid Game. Where hear me out, right? Like, Justin Fields, he's player 4, 5, 6. I'm rooting for him. But every time he runs, it's like watching them play red light, green light, where I'm like, whoa, is he going to make it?
Yeah.
And, right, Matt Nagy, he's like player 1. He's the mastermind, the criminal mastermind of this thing. Like, I cringe, and it never ends up being, I never feel good afterwards. I'm always like, this is a nightmare.
Especially during this losing streak, right? I mean, it doesn't feel good. No matter how good Justin Fields is getting week to week, Lisa, it's still a loss and still sucks.
It does.
It is. You know something bad's going to happen every single episode, every single game.
After Justin let us down, I text my brother, how about that? And he texts me back, oh, just wait. They'll go down the field and beat us on a field goal. And he was right.
Just wait.
Hey,
just wait.
Have a great day, Lise.
You too, guys.
Appreciate you.
I know it was a release for Justin Fields to be able to say, hey, man, we got the lead. I know there's a lot of smiles on that sideline, and that was for his development, but I hope the Bears didn't think they were going to win the game from there, right? I mean, Roethlisberger still had plenty of time in the clock to try to get a field goal. I thought that was an odd scene over there. Like, the game's not over, right? Did you feel like the Bears are going to win that game just because they had smiles on the sidelines? I thought that was an odd flex.
Because we've never seen a quarterback here do that.
Never seen a quarterback here smile.
Yeah, exactly. Justin, did you feel any different in the second half?
Same, really. I felt the same, really. I just felt like the first half, every positive play, especially to start the game off, we just had a flag. So it's just like we couldn't get things started and we could get things going.
How about your mindset in the late drive?
Oh, yeah, my mindset was just like, it's time. We're here. You can either be the guy who always gets put in that position that doesn't show up, or you can, be that guy who shows up in the big moment. So, that's what my mindset was, and I was just, calm and just focused on showing up.
All right, to the phone lines we go.
All right, an ugly loss. What'd you see? Let's go to Bryson in South Holland. Hey, Bryson, what's up, man?
Gentlemen, once again, we are here. It's not Monday, but, it might as well be. I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of Aaron Rodgers being able to do whatever he wants to do. He can taunt the crowd. He can tell us he owns us and all this stuff. And we are an inch into encroaching. We're an inch offside. It's like everything for the Bears is always to the letter of the law. It's kind of like, and I'm not trying to play the race card, but it's kind of like being a black guy and getting pulled over all the time.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing for the Chicago Bears. Like, you kind of just got to, just let the guys play football, especially in crunch time. That was ridiculous. I understand you guys got to fill in the gaps by saying, oh, well, they're the Bears. No. There is some type of thing going on where we can't do what we need to do because we are the Chicago Bears. And we know everybody hates Chicago, and I'm fine with that. Hate me, but give us a doggone chance. Come on now.
Bryson, make sure that the information and the paperwork are on the top of the dash and hands at 10 and 2. You know that, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, man.
Have a great day, Bryson. We appreciate you. 312-332-37. Howard Griffith was on with us, and that topic came up, and he said, "And don't wear a hoodie, son." That's what he told his son.
That's the other thing
Do
too.
not wear a hoodie.
Now that's a new parallel on a after the Bears lose. It's like being a black guy being pulled over by the police. That's a new one.
There you go. We give you everything here.
Yeah.
Let's go to Demetrius in Inglewood. Hi, Demetrius.
Cap, J Hood, what's going on with you guys?
What's up? Chilling.
All right, this is a reoccurring thing with the Bears because you can say the game was over after the first quarter because we all know the Bears are not built to come from behind 14 points in the first quarter. And second off, it's always a discipline problem every time the Bears play. But the only thing, it was a good game all in all, but the only thing I had a problem with that I was thinking about at the end of the game is why did Matt Nagy call that time out at the end of the game when the clock was already started? already stopped. And he
No,
called
because
that
I think
timeout.
were going to. I think they were going to wind the clock. I've got to go back and look at the play-by-play. They were going to wind the clock, and that would allow Tomlin to run it all the way down. Then we would have never had a drive.
No, Cap. I think Matt Nagy called that timeout to freeze the kicker because it was an incomplete pass. Because all I was thinking about at the end of that game is like we really could have used that timeout, and we could have at least threw the ball in the middle of the field to at least get another shot. But it's always one thing. Matt Nagy, and another thing that I have with you guys, it seems like the more Justin Fields develops, it seems like the McCaskey's going to see, Matt Nagy's he's going to be here for another year. That's the only problem I have.
Yeah, I'll be shocked. Demetrius, thanks, man. I'll check the play-by-play and see what it says.
When it comes to Matt Nagy and whether or not he's going to be here next year or not, I'm not going to be surprised at anything because we're talking about the Bears. Right, so we're talking about an inept franchise that's a mom-and-pop shop. Amongst the trees of Whole Foods and all these great stores, the Bears are the mom-and-pop shop. So, I mean, I know, and Cap knows, and all of us know that there should be a regime change because if not just for the defense, it should be for the Justin Fields and how he can progress as a quarterback. I think we all know that. But I don't know if Ted and George know that.
Well, Ryan and Matt are football
and that's the thing that's really troublesome. I have no idea if they don't know. I mean, again, I told you this before. They look at this the last couple of years being in the playoffs as value. I'm like, yeah, you got to the playoffs. You
didn't do anything.
You didn't do it. So what's the point of that, right? This team is going in the wrong direction. Even George and Ted should be able to see that.
But as you pour your coffee and head to work to take the kids or whatever it is anybody's doing, we have a quarterback. We have a freaking quarterback. That is legit. All your Bears calls continue. Next. This hour brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. Through life's ups and downs, for all the journeys ahead, you know what to bring. The card you can count on. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all.
You don't have to wait till you're in your car to hear what Cap and J Hood are talking about. Just tell your smart speaker to play ESPN 1000.
Rolling on the Cap J Hood Show on ESPN 1000. We thank you for all your support, for all the callers, all the listeners, every line locked and loaded. Albert Breer from Monday Morning Quarterback and SI.com. Big Ohio State guy on top of it. He'll join us at 8:35. We'll talk Bears, and we'll go around the National Football League. Bears Tuesdays brought to you by Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Acura dealers. Back to the phones we go, and let's go to Lloyd on the north side. Hey, Lloyd, what's going on, man?
Hey, fellas, how you doing?
Good,
yeah,
Lloyd.
I think we could dissect the Bears, the positivities, negativities, but this reffing is just beyond absurd. This taunting thing the NFL instituted is just a joke. You sit down to watch an NFL game, and it's just like waiting for the ridiculous game-affecting calls that just, ruin the entertainment.
Well, yeah, the ebb and flow of the game is
Thanks,
really
Lloyd.
crappy in the NFL. Look, I'm a college football fan, and so I don't see as many flags. And so when I see how the slog that was the NFL last night and just over-officiating, just flags left and right, that's not good for the entertainment. That's not good for the ebb and flow of the players, too. But again, a lot of those flags, the Bears deserved it because they weren't disciplined yesterday.
Agreed. Of the 12, look, the roughing that they called on Mario Edwards on Roethlisberger, that was a bad call. Bad call. They missed roughings on Justin, but we had 12 penalties.
Sure.
Tayshaun Gibson, I believe, lined up in the neutral zone. Robert Quinn lined up in the neutral zone. Again, Robert Quinn lined up in the neutral zone. We had a false start on Larry Borum. I'll cut him some slack. He's a fifth-round rookie who's been on injured reserve. He's working his way in, and he's trying to go up against T.J. Watt. I get it. It's going to happen. I get it. Come on, man. You cannot have 12 penalties and not think that at some point the undisciplined nature of our football team falls at the feet of the man who makes whatever he makes, $4 or $5 million a year on a long-term deal. That's just a fact.
Yeah, all those mistakes cast a big cloud and shadow over Justin Fields getting better every week as a quarterback.
Let's go to Alonzo in Gurney. Hey, Alonzo, what's up, Sparkles?
Yeah, I kind of thought the same thing about the timeout, but I did go back, and it was about they stopped the clock because of the measurement of the.
Correct. So they would have wound it, and we would never have gotten a second. That whatever we had, 30 seconds left.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, Justin Fields was amazing. That dude passing down the hash with tight ends was great, and it's finally to see Robinson actually get into the game or some kind of flow.
I mean, just having a big-time catch, that was a switch for Robinson. So, I mean, that's the whole thing. Just for him to be able to have a catch, to have a target where it matters.
Right.
Not 3rd and 5 and throwing a 3-yard pass. Saw that early, too, from Fields.
How about the throw he made down the right sideline late in the game on that potential game-winning drive, which they came back down, obviously, and scored to beat us. That throw to Robinson, that's a dime.
Right. Well, that also should happen every week.
Correct. That was a dime. Yeah. He hit Mooney on the left sideline. Dime. Cole Kmet had his best game as a pro. I think he had 6 catches for 81 yards. Jimmy Graham, I know he had a touchdown wiped out. You can't drop the other one. You cannot.
No, absolutely not.
And as I think it was Greasy Meller, correct me if I'm wrong, he said, you already gave Jimmy Graham a fade, and he didn't catch it. You don't go back to him again there.
Yeah.
Because they had Allen Robinson open over the middle in the end zone.
Well, he was going to what he thought was the best red zone threat in Graham because he's a basketball player in cleats.
Correct.
He goes up there, he climbs the ladder, goes up and catches the football. So he's looking for someone with good hands that could be able to catch. That was not the case with Graham on that one occasion. Had bad hands there.
Correct.
I'm ready to turn the page on that guy after this year. Komet should be the guy, and then if you want to have tight ends to be able to block, bring those guys in.
You got Jesse James. He's competent.
He's fine. He's fine.
Horst, whatever.
Yeah, but having Jimmy Graham is it's actually too much money on the books for a guy that does very little.
Think about how much money that we're spending on guys that do not contribute to this team.
Right.
Jimmy Graham, $8 or $9 million. Mm-hmm. Andy Dalton, $10 million. Now again, when they signed him, I get it. They didn't have Justin Fields, didn't know if they would have him. But another $8 million to Nick Foles. So you've got 18 plus Justin tied up in the quarterback room. You have no young quarterback on your roster other than Justin that you tried to develop. Go look at even using your word. Can I steal a word from you?
Sure. Yeah.
Moribund franchise like the Jets.
Sure.
Oh, they got Zach Wilson. Oh, we got Mike White. Oh, he went down. We got another dude. Who do we have? Nobody.
Right.
Have they ever had a good young quarterback on the roster other than the guy that was starting?
No.
They tried to develop Tyler Bray.
Mm-hmm. Well,
that falls at the feet of the general manager.
Don't worry. Change will come. Change will come soon. Keep losing like this in an embarrassing fashion. It'll come. I'm so ready for it. So ready for it from the Bears.
Let's go to Dean downtown. Hey, Dean, what's up?
Hey, guys. By the way, I don't want to hear it, Danny. All scores are final, all right? You keep your beak out of there.
Dean, listening's a skill. If you're going to not listen to the show, we're going to put you back into the 10 o'clock hour. I gave him the $20. I told him congratulations. Dean, don't talk over me. And right, I said, congratulations, here's the $20. However, I proved my point that every team's capable of scoring 30 on the Chicago Bears.
I apologize, Dan Betterman.
Now stay out of Dan Zetterman business.
Yeah, get to your point. All right, we can't hear you. You got to get a better phone. Tell Chris Carson to get you a better phone. All right, 312-332-3776.
Always a calamity with him.
He is a character, man.
You're back to the 9 o'clock hour. Too early for this nonsense.
Too early.
Now you got a bad phone.
God, awful. Makes good ribs. He's got a horrible phone. We will play shot or no shot and back to your calls. So hang in there. Sam and Demetrius and our guy Space and Raul and Justin. And so many of you want to talk. It's a Bears Tuesday. It's brought to you by Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Acura dealers with the one and only Jonathan Hood. 31 pounds down, my guy, looking good. We'll be right back in 2 minutes.
All right, move it along.